The air in the ballroom is thick with anticipation, as if every gilded surface and velvet-draped corner were holding its breath. Beneath the grand chandeliers, heavy with crystal, spilling molten gold onto the polished parquet, the world is awash in amber and shadow. Jazz music, vibrant and alive, coils through the haze, its syncopated rhythms echoing between marble pillars and high arched windows. The laughter and conversation of the crowd blend together, rising and falling in tides that caress the edges of the night. Waiters in crisp white jackets glide silently, balancing silver trays laden with crystal flutes and cut glass tumblers. The scent of champagne mingles with the richer notes of aged brandy, and everywhere, the faint trace of jasmine drifts above the sea of perfume and cigar smoke. Candles flicker in mirrored sconces, their flames casting restless shadows that dance up the walls and across the faces of the guests. Each movement is refracted in the polished floor, in the gleaming brass of the band's instruments, in the sheen of silk gowns and tailored tuxedos. In the midst of this opulence, the crowd becomes both a barrier and a stage, a living tapestry of movement and color. Dancers swirl, their laughter trailing like ribbons. A woman's silk hem brushes the floor. A man's patent shoes tap time to the muted beat. The camera's gaze, if such a thing could be imagined, glides at the edge of perception, weaving through the revelers. It brushes past a table where a group leans in, heads together over whispered secrets. It skirts a potted palm, its fronds trembling gently in the current of passing bodies. And then, at the far edge of the room, near the grand piano, where a lone musician coaxes a melody from the keys, stands a man. He is striking in his midnight blue tuxedo, the cut so precise it seems to sculpt his frame from shadow and light. His hair is swept back, dark and glossy, with just enough wave to hint at the untamed beneath the polished. His eyes, stormy gray, restless as the sea before a storm, roam the crowd, until suddenly they pause. There, across the expanse of swirling bodies and drifting smoke, he sees her. Time thickens, stretches, as if the world itself were caught in a breath. The music dissolves into a distant pulse. The conversations become a hush at the edge of hearing. All that remains is the golden thread of connection, stretching through the drifting dust and the slow-motion embers rising from candles. The man's expression shifts. Mid-conversation, he falters, the mask of composure slipping to reveal a flicker of vulnerability. His eyes widen, then soften, as if the sight of her unleashes a flood of memory and longing. She stands by the open balcony doors, framed by the night beyond. Her gown is a marvel, gold-threaded, backless, the fabric shimmering like liquid fire each time she moves. Light pools along the curve of her shoulders, catches in the delicate sweep of her hair. Her gaze is unwavering, direct, as if she's been waiting for this precise moment. Her lips part, the breath she holds suspended like a secret. One gloved hand clutches a champagne glass, knuckles pale with the force of her grip. The other hangs at her side, fingers curled in tension. Between them, a golden lens flare shimmers, an invisible thread that pulses gently in the dim. It is as if the universe itself acknowledges their connection, old as time, impossible to sever. Dust motes and candle embers float between them, drifting in lazy spirals, caught in the hush of this suspended moment. The chandeliers backlight their figures, halos of light crowning them, setting them apart from the blur of the crowd. The music's heartbeat slows. Every detail sharpens, the clink of glass, the murmur of silk, the soft exhale of a breath neither realizes they are holding. The scent of jasmine grows stronger, mingling with the heady tang of wood polish and cigar smoke. The air vibrates with a static tension, a feeling that something immense and irreversible hovers just out of sight. In this frozen instant, the world outside the ballroom ceases to exist. The past, with all its regrets and half-remembered promises, folds into the present. The future, with its infinite possibilities, waits on the far side of a glance. The look they share is loaded with meaning, a lifetime of unspoken words, of love deferred or denied, of recognition that transcends explanation. Perhaps it is the echo of a story that began long ago, in another city, another era. Perhaps it is the spark of something new, electric and terrifying in its promise. Neither moves, For a heartbeat, for an eternity, they are statues carved from light and longing. Around them, the ballroom continues, dancers spinning, laughter rising, the world resuming its steady pulse. But for these two, time has rewritten itself. In the golden hush, their eyes speak what lips cannot. I remember. I hoped. I waited. The moment hums taut as a violin string, poised between memory and desire. In the slow drift of dust and music, in the lambent glow of the chandeliers, something precious is exchanged, a silent vow, a question left unanswered, a hope rekindled. And as the world begins to move again, as the music swells and the crowd surges between them once more, the thread of light remains, binding them together across the sea of people, across the sweep of years. Within this ballroom, on this night awash with golden light and shadows, they are both lost and found, two souls suspended in the amber of a single, unforgettable gaze. In the hush of a forgotten place, where time itself seems to breathe in slow, measured sighs, a hallway stretches onward into shadow and memory. Its walls, high and cavernous, bear the marks of centuries, a patchwork of cracked plaster, and the ghostly traces of frescoes that once told stories, but now linger only as color and suggestion. The surface is rough, textured by age and neglect, and the faded splashes of pigment drift like distant recollections just out of reach. Along the corridor, old iron sconces cling to the walls, their bulbs or candles guttering with a warmth that feels more like memory than illumination. Each pool of light is faint, trembling, casting wide arcs that melt seamlessly into the darkness, while the spaces between are deep and velvety, swallowing sound and movement alike. Beneath the flickering glow, the floor is a vast mosaic of stone tiles. Each tile is worn smooth by countless feet that passed before, their edges softened, their colors dulled by time and dust. Here and there, they catch the ambient light, reflecting it back in hazy, uneven patches, a fractured mirror of the world above. The air hangs heavy, thick with stillness. It muffles each sound so that even the faintest echo is soft, as if the very stones are reluctant to disturb the silence that has settled here for so long. It is through this corridor that a solitary figure moves, gliding with unhurried grace. Cloaked in loose, dark robes, the figure's form is neither overtly masculine nor feminine, shaped only by the gentle shifting of fabric as they walk. The robes seem to drink in the darkness, their folds catching the stray glimmers of light and holding them close, never giving them away. Around them, a faint, translucent aura shimmers, a subtle distortion in the air, like the heat that rises from sun-warmed stone or the early morning mist that catches the first weak rays of dawn. It is not a dramatic halo, but something softer, more elusive, barely glimpsed at the edge of vision. The figure's face is a study in calm, eyes fixed forward, their gaze is steady and unblinking, serene as a monk lost in contemplation. Each step is measured, purposeful, yet free from urgency or doubt. There is no tension in the way they move, only a meditative certainty, as if each gesture is an act of quiet devotion. With every footfall, a gentle wave of energy ripples outward from their chest and shoulders, a painterly wash of cool teals, silvers, and ethereal blues. These waves move like liquid light, undulating softly through the air, distorting the space around them with a motion that is both fluid and deliberate. As the energy pulses radiate outward, they pass through the hall's lingering shadows, brushing against the few silent figures who wait along the corridor's length. These onlookers are shrouded in muted clothing, their faces rendered vague and indistinct, as though their features have been blurred by time or dream. They stand in quiet clusters or alone, lost in thought or perhaps in the act of forgetting. Yet, as the gentle energy waves reach them, something stirs. Their bodies turn, slowly, unconsciously, drawn by a force that is at once imperceptible and irresistible. Blank expressions shift almost imperceptibly, eyes open just a little wider, mouths relax, brows ease. It is not awakening, but a gentle rising from slumber, as if some sacred presence has brushed their souls and left them changed in ways they cannot understand. The interplay of light and shadow deepens. Where the figure passes, their internal glow does not banish the darkness but makes it richer, an intimate dance of illumination and obscurity. The chiaroscuro effect is pronounced, the edges of the figure's glow blending into the ink-like depth, saturating the scene with a sense of mystery and reverence. The color palette is restrained, dominated by earthy siennas, soft charcoals, and the deepest indigos. Only the cool luminescence of the energy waves cuts through the dusk, painting fleeting traces across the corridor's ancient bones. There is no music to guide the moment, only the quiet symphony of the setting itself, the distant hum of air, a subtle movement as if the stones themselves are breathing, the gentle rustle of the figure's robes, fabric sliding against fabric in a sound more felt than heard. Each footstep on stone rings out, a soft and deliberate echo that fades almost instantly into the dense air. When the energy waves pass through the space, a crystalline resonance lingers, fragile, barely audible, like the chime of delicate glass bells submerged beneath water. It is a sound that seems to shimmer just outside the edge of perception, a reminder that something extraordinary is happening in this most ordinary of places. The air is cool, laden with the scent of old stone and ancient dust, a fragrance that speaks of forgotten years and slow decay. Yet beneath this, there is something unexpected, a faint note of floral sweetness, unfamiliar and elusive, drifting just beneath the surface, as if carried from some distant garden by a memory. In this moment, the corridor becomes more than a passageway. It is a threshold, a liminal space between worlds, caught between the waking and the dreaming, the seen and the unseen. The figure does not hurry, nor do they pause. They are not here to perform or to be seen, but simply to be, a vessel of silent transformation, a guardian moving gently through the fabric of time. In their wake, the people left behind are not certain of what has changed, only that something sacred has brushed past them, leaving a trace of presence and possibility that lingers long after the figure has gone. This is not a moment of drama, but of quiet revelation, a passage through memory, a communion with the deep currents that move unseen beneath the surface of daily life. The hallway remains, dim and eternal, while something ancient and profound has passed through it, leaving both space and soul subtly, irrevocably altered.